Today, in the season of creation, I would like to take a look at a interesting development in our local area here, and of course, similar areas throughout the country are attempting similar processes. The idea of turning our food waste into energy. We're using our food waste in a really productive, a good way, an important way. Uh, because one of the big problems we have is we do waste a lot of food, and what are we going to do with this food that we waste? Are we just going to, throw it into a landfill, and then all sorts of negative things happen as a result of that, or is there a better use for this food? So, a company called American Organic Energy, which is a sister company of a local company called Long Island Compost, has invested a huge sum, $120 million, in creating a facility in Yaphank. Uh, and the thought is that it would open late in 2023, next year. The chief executive is Charles Bigliotti. And what they are looking to do is to produce renewable natural gas from the food stream. Their goal is to take 180,000 tons of food waste and to take this food waste and to transform it. So you can see what an amazing project this could be. New York State has enacted a law to kind of push people, and particularly restaurants and this food service industry, in this direction. One of the things that Pope Francis points out in his encyclical Laudate Si is that one-third of the food that we produce is wasted. So when you take a look at that and you say, well, wait a minute, there are people starving in our world, and yet this food is being wasted, it's being thrown out, it's being disposed of, and in disposing of it, we are creating, of course, a huge problem of pollution. So there's something out of whack here. Why are we doing this? And what can be done to alleviate it and to transform this food waste? So this uh, is one particular option. This anaerobic digester is one such option. Interestingly enough, this state law says that food waste from restaurants and other facilities, food service facilities, must be transported to a digester in order that this food waste is not creating havoc in our waste stream. The odors that many people would object to, well, is this going to create a lot of odors? Well, in the digester, the odors are kept inside, so that is not a problem. It is turned into a slurry. The slurry is stored in tanks, and what is produced is renewable gas. It is a no oxygen process. It is fed into a national grid connection and then sold to a third party. Digested slurry is separated into solids to be used by Long Island Compost. So the solid part of the waste can be used as part of composting. So you can see how this could have many advantages. You're creating energy from it. You're taking all this food waste out of the waste stream, and you're also helping in terms of creating compost, which then can be used in a positive way to create good food, to renew our soils. So this could have, many, many advantages, this idea of the anaerobic digester, and this idea of using our food waste in a more positive way. The nutrient-rich liquid can then be sold as a fertilizer, and again, it's a natural fertilizer. You're taking things that are part of our natural system and using them as a good fertilizer, so it's not a chemical type of situation. The end product wastewater can be treated and piped to the Bergen Point wastewater treatment facility. Suffolk County has agreed that this could happen. So The idea is that even the waste that's created can be safely disposed of in that wastewater treatment facility that we have here in Suffolk County. Uh, the anaerobic digester can be used to upgrade and renovate wastewater receiving station and tanks at the company's cost. Uh, it is subject to, of course, state and Brookhaven Town approval, so this has to be looked into and approved, first of all, by the state, and then, of course, also by the town. Kevin Malloy is the Brookhaven Town spokesperson. He says that planning approvals are in place. They have an open building permit for it and support from the Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency to go forward with this plan. 2 megawatts of power will be created, and it will be for the use of the facility itself. It will take in 30,000 tons of fats, oils, and grease, and the total intake will not exceed 210,000 tons a year. The gas can be sold, and they can receive 85% of the waste. So this is a new way of dealing with waste. It can be potentially a very positive way. The state and the town are evaluating it. But the thing that really causes us to reflect is the amount of waste that we create, and in particular, of course, with food waste, and how we can turn this food waste into something that will be helpful, that will be positive, and again, to eliminate as much food waste as possible, and in particular way to think of creative ways to feed people who are hungry. It is kind of insane in our society in a way that we're creating all this waste on the one hand, and yet we have people hungry on the other hand. It would seem that some sort of process could be brought together where the waste is minimized and people are fed. So again, this is another avenue to explore. Certainly, to take what waste is created and to transform it into something positive through the anaerobic digester process is a good thing, is a wonderful thing to do. But in the long run, what we have to examine is the really critical question as to why there is so much waste and why there is so much hunger in our society. It seems that these things existing together are things that we have to examine. As Pope Francis rightly points out, we need an ecological conversion so that this type of thing does not happen in our society. People should not be going hungry, and of course, we should not be wasting 1/3 of the food we produce.